M.Bison has developed into one of the strongest characters in the Street Fighter universe. His quest for power and dedication has taken him to new heights. But how did M.Bison really reach his legendary strength and status? In this episode, we will cover many versions of M.Bison, from his beginnings to his bizarre evolutions, dangerous encounters, and more. Without further ado, let me welcome you to the Street Fighterverse. Let's start today's episode with the most known version of M.Bison and his basic version. M.Bison is an archetypal villain motivated by his own self-serving interests and lust for absolute power through world domination. He is a psychopathic dictator and terrorist who seeks to rule the world with an iron fist while also being universally regarded as the greatest and most powerful martial artist of all time, and will readily destroy anything or anyone who dares to stand between him and his shady goals. Possessing a vast ego and a god complex, Bison is physically incapable of feeling empathy for others, and even takes pleasure in watching people suffer at his hands, never feeling a shed of regret or remorse for the numerous atrocities that he has committed. In many ways, Bison's characterization is comparable to the clinical diagnosis of a real-life psychopath or sociopath. Bison's malevolence and sadism are reflected in his iconic smile, a very wide grin that exposes not just all of the teeth but even the gums as well. He occasionally refers to himself in the third person, possibly to emphasize his own sense of self-importance, and displays a twisted sense of humor, as well as a business before pleasure attitude. In the games, M.Bison fights with a self-taught style using the Psychopower. His general attire consists of a red military uniform, with large silver shoulder plates, wristbands, and shin guards. On his peaked surface cap is a skull insignia of his crime syndicate known as Shadow Loop. Bison 2, known as Vega 2 in Japan, first appearing as a non-playable boss in Street Fighter EX2, before becoming playable in Street Fighter EX3 as a secret fighter. This is the form M.Bison has taken after fussing with his second body. In Street Fighter EX2+, if certain conditions are met after defeating M.Bison, a second M.Bison surrounded by floating embers descends from above, merges with the defeated M.Bison, and then fights the player. The stage, which is a temple of ruins of some sort, changes to a black screen where streaks of energy rise from the ground, which is the same background used for meteor combos, as the battle takes place. In EX3, the requirements for reaching him have been made easier, along with the difficulty of facing him in battle, as he no longer has infinite SC energy, although he will still have a full meter right off the bat. He retains the variations of the Psycho Cannon, but can only charge them to regular size. Bison 2 also tends to be far more aggressive than his normal counterpart in all the titles he appears in, and makes frequent use of his teleporting ability. Shin Bison, also known as True Bison. This is the form M.Bison takes while it's going all out and utilizing his full potential. Shin Bison is very much similar to regular M.Bison in terms of appearance, except with a different palette for his skin and outfit. His uniform is white with turquoise shoulder pads and anklets, and he has a zombie-like purple skin tone. He is also physically larger than the normal Bison. Shin Bison can only be fought once the player has accumulated a high enough score, which can only be accomplished by means of acquiring numerous perfect victories, and by winning matches using a Meteor combo, Meteor Tag combo, or a critical parade as often as possible. He is also unplayable unless third-party cheat devices are used, as he is quite unbalanced in terms of gameplay, and even has an unlimited amount of energy in his meter. In EX3, he is different from the regular Bison in Bison 2, in that his movements are faster, and his attacks have less delay in recovery time, and can be changed as if he was in a permanent Excel state. Super Bison is a powered-up version of M.Bison that appears in the arcade version of Street Fighter the movie, as the final boss in the game's secret tag team mode. He is fought in a nighttime version of the Temple Ruins stage. He cannot be selected unless cheats are used. Phantom Bison is a form M.Bison takes after his body is destroyed, his consciousness living on in an incorporeal form through Psychopower. Phantom Bison looks nearly identical to M.Bison's appearance in his physical body, save for the fact that he is now a transparent shade of purple. Phantom Bison appears in the beginning of A Shadow Falls, in the form of an illusion fought by Nash upon reawakening. He uses a near-identical moveset to his playable counterpart. His Street Fighter V profile states that at the end of the story mode, after Bison's body was destroyed by Ryu, his consciousness remained, turning to an incorporeal form. Phantom Bison appears in Ed's character story. After the events of A Shadow Falls, Phantom Bison appears and haunts Ed, trying to take over his body. Ed fights the spirit and is victorious. It is unknown what happened to Phantom Bison afterwards. Phantom Bison also appeared as an opponent in Falk's character story. You might ask yourself, Why Bison has white pupils? Well, it is said that anime characters who don't have pupils are typically evil, prone to trances, or are possessed. Characters who usually have pupils, but lose them temporarily, are usually possessed, unconscious, mentally preoccupied, or dead. The pupils are a simple and universal visual metaphor for a person's state of mind. Almost nothing is known about M.Bison'S past prior to his appearances in the mainline games. His country of origin is also unknown. The only known details of his past is that he was at one point nothing more than a young martial artist like any other, but with overwhelming ambitions. He originally wielded soul power and passed down his knowledge onto Rose, who was his only disciple. However, in order to be the best in the world of martial arts, M.Bison murdered his own master before giving in to complete chaos. M.Bison'S master was said to be the only known person in the world who could manipulate the evil power known as the Psychopower at the time, and it is also said that, before his death, M.Bison'S master passed the power to only 3 other students, M.Bison himself being one of them. Another version dictates that after killing his parents at a young age, the young Bison was found and raised by a tribe of nomadic gypsies. The leader of the tribe took Bison under her wing and trained him in the art of soul power, using one's soul as a tool. However, Bison discovered that the soul had 2 sides, one of good and one of evil, and purged all of the goodness from his soul. This created Psychopower, an extremely destructive energy, with the good half of his soul manifesting as a woman named Rose. From that day on, Bison quickly built up his criminal empire, culminating in the formation of the evil organization, Shadowloo, a very powerful and deadly criminal organization that is responsible for dealing biochemical drugs and arms. Its base is located in the region of Thailand. Bison's motto is to rule his empire with an iron fist, characteristic of an evil dictator. In his operations, he has used satellites and technology to try and destroy cities across the world. One of those can be attributed to his loyal servant Fang and his Operations Change project. The 7 PSA, Psychopower stratospheric aircraft, nicknamed as the Black Moons, are a group of doomsday weapons controlled by Shadowloo. Black Moons are part of Operation Chains, which was planned by Shadowloo to cause chaos in order to increase Bison's Psychopower. Each Black Moon requires a control key, shaped like a small piece of chess, to be activated in a control device in the Shadowloo headquarters, which will cause them to detonate and release a powerful electromagnetic pulse, disabling electronics in a wide area. They were set above the United States of America and other important countries from around the world. Other aspects of his evilness is his brainwashing. In Street Fighter II, M.Bison controlled Ken with his Psychopower, brainwashing him in the process. After this event, Ken became very violent, which is why this version of Ken is affectionately known as Violent Ken. He was vulnerable to mind control because of Ken's jealousy over Ryu's fighting ability. As the outstanding individual that he is, Bison used this as an opportunity to imbue Ken with Psychopower and turn him into a pawn for the Shadowloo. Ken luckily broke free later. Another of Bison's evil endeavors is his repeated attempts in capturing Ryu, with the purpose of using Ryu's body as a host's body, or brainwashing Ryu into becoming a soldier of the Shadowloo. Bison has even gotten on a semi-truck and tried to run over Ryu for the sake of being bluntly evil. One of the worst acts of Bison is the brainwashing and kidnapping of teenage girls, with the purpose of creating an elite group of personal assassins called the Dolls. His brainwashing at one point had such a hold over the dolls that if he were to die, so would they. The tragedy behind Cammy. When Cammy was first introduced into the series, she had a convenient case of amnesia, forgetting her origins. It was later revealed that she had worked alongside M.Bison as part of the Shadowloo Dolls as an assassin for Bison. Which brings me to my next point. All the murders Bison endured. One of them is that he killed the parents of Juri Han. Her father, a famous Korean lawyer, had a case against the Shadowloo. Finding their whereabouts, the Shadowloo killed them and almost killed Juri Han, as she survived a bullet through her eye socket. Another one is Bison and the Shadowloo stealing the Thunderfoot tribe lands and killing T-Hawk's father. A third one we can talk about is the killing of Giles' best friend and mentor, Charlie Nash. Charlie had caught up with Bison and been shot by an aircraft multiple times on his back, before falling down a cliff. Last but not least, we can speak about the death of Dorai, ChunLis' father. As a young girl, ChunLis's father attempted to protect her from Bison and his evil organization, only to be killed. It is said that the assassin sent to kill ChunLis's father was Cammy White, while under the spell of Bison. M.Bison was designed by Akira Akiman Yasuda and Yuko Ikusan Nakayama. Both were very influential in the early stages of the Street Fighter game's development. M.Bison'S concept and design were based on Washisaki, in which translated means Eagle Cape, a villain from the manga and anime Rikyo, created by Masahiko Takajo and Setsuya Saruwatari. Washisaki is one of the main antagonists in the series. He shares the same world domination vision as M.Bison. Another inspiration for M.Bison'S creation is based on Yasunori Keto, the main antagonist of the Japanese film Tokyo, The Last Megapolis, which is also known as Teito Monogatari. Yasunori Keto is an evil sorcerer, wielding the power of several long-dead mystics, who wants to destroy Tokyo and cripple the Japanese Empire in order to fulfill a 2,000-year-old curse. Both M.Bison and Yasunori Keto look very similar and have supernatural abilities, which they use for evil. So which is your favorite version of M.Bison? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. This has been your Street Fighter host. Welcome to the center stage. Our new Discord server. There you can talk with us, chat about current events going on in Street Fighter, information, theories, and lore. We'll leave the link in the description box below. We want to thank everyone for tuning in and becoming part of this Street Fighter community. We want to thank you for your positive comments towards our channel because it only habilitates us to grow even more. From the Street Fighterverse crew, we thank you.